G'day, guys. Welcome to the preview. Good Friday football. Yeah, it's 4:20 start, Marvel Stadium, and it's apparently a sellout. Only standing room tickets available. That's going to be a big, big crowd. Hopefully close to 50,000. But sellouts these days, you probably. I'm going to predict the crowd. 44,838. That's my prediction. So there you go. But it's going to be big. I think the atmosphere there is going to be terrific. And there's something about North and Carlton in regards to this game. And I think they got it wrong, the AFL. Got it wrong. This I'm not calling it, we're not arch rivals with North Melbourne, but there is this, I suppose, animosity between the two clubs historically, given that, we're a little bit white collar, and there's no doubt that North Melbourne, the shinboners, and I reckon Clarkson will use that. I really will. I think just knowing what he's like, he played at North Melbourne. He came through the system there. I think, and he has a bit of a history with Carlton as well, given what happened in the Battle of Britain. I just think this game might be on. And I think Clarkson will have his troops really fired up for this one. And I know they've lost some key personnel down back, but they get some real strength back through that midfield. Simpkin is a real hard nut, and Luke Davies-Uniacke, who's just an elite midfielder of the competition now. And I just think it's going to be on. I really do. I think there's going to be a bit of spite in this clash. Which excites me. It really does. They've got Zerha and Cunnington, and Zeeble, who bullied us in the past. Not so much last year when we beat them by 50 points, but pre that, we've been bullied by North Melbourne. And last year was the first time we got them, and we got them by 50 points. That was a big win. 17 goals, 12 we kicked. We kept them to a relatively low score. It was just nice. It was just nice. I think it was round 7. It was just nice to get one over them because they've done some numbers on us over the last decade or so. This is going to be really interesting. I'd love to be able to think that we could wipe the floor of this mob. And I suppose my train of thought at the moment with my football team is that what I want from them, what I want in regards to just being a little bit more free-flowing, being able to score a little bit easily, be a little bit more systematic and get a little bit more speed on the game, and what they're actually giving us or me as a fan at the moment seem like worlds apart. But I must say I've been impressed, I think, with the start of the year in regards to just, I don't know, there's been a steadiness about it, although the football hasn't been pristine. There's been a steadiness about it which is giving me confidence. Confidence in the club and confidence in this group, not about capabilities of skill and whether this group, in fact, are going to be good enough. More around the lines of just, I feel like after 12 months with Voss in charge and been able to grow some leadership and some belief. I think just the added, it feels like it's hard to know unless you're inside. But I just feel like we don't win those games or draw those games in the past without a better culture. And I think that has grown. I do. I feel like we are in a better place in that regards. And now I'm just waiting for this team to see if it can really click. And there's no doubt at the start of last year when we faced North Melbourne in the first part of that year, we really did explode out of the blocks. And at times we were playing some really exciting brand of football, but getting scored against quite heavily with those consecutive goals. Remember that? We were talking about that a lot. 5+ goals in succession. I haven't seen that in the first 3 games. I know we've lost momentum, but all clubs lose momentum in games, but there hasn't been that real rush from the opposition. It's got tight, but not a big rush, like massive swings in momentum, which we saw even when we were playing well last year. Now, hopefully that can continue. I want to fucking wipe the floor with this mob. I really do. I just think they're going to come at us. I really do, and I want to see us respond. Respond with controlled aggression, but respond with just being a better side. Just being able to be calm and just be a better side. I don't know. They've been okay. They've won 2 games. They lost last week against Hawthorn over in Tasmania. Watched that game. There were big swings in that game as well. Both teams had 5 goals kicked them in succession, which says to me we can get them. We can get them offensively if our connection between our mids and our forwards is on. I feel like we can. We could score heavily in this game. It might be tied early, but I feel like we could get on a bit of a roll. But they'll be up for the fight. They fought it out against the West Coast and went over to Fremantle and had that win over there as well. And we lose. We lose some pretty important players. I mean, Matt Owies, I think, started the year really well. And I think when those 3 play together, Durden, Motlop, and Owies, it's got a I don't know. I just think they complement each other. Some get up the ground, which allows one to play a little bit deeper. They all, they apply really good forward half pressure, particularly Owies and Durden, which allows Motlop to be a bit more offensive. So if we don't have Owies, now what does that look like? You just have Durden and Motlop. Who comes in, which is important for me. I mean, who is it? Josh Honey. Does he get another crack? I'm not sold at the moment on what role Jack Martin will have in that front half. I feel him and Jack Silvani play a similar type role. And losing Akers for me is huge. It's big because we're talking about North Melbourne being aggressive and really coming after us. I think Blake Akers, for me, is the reason why I got him to the club is because he does throw his weight around. He is big and he is strong and he is courageous. He's not polished, but he's your Camden McIntosh, and I've mentioned this a lot. He's no thrills. He kicks the ball long. He's fairly predictable in what he does, but he's just strong. He's just a strong customer, and he saw what he was able to do last week, even with an injury. And now we're in a situation where, and I wouldn't play Lockie O'Brien, not against North Melbourne. If Lockie O'Brien plays, I'm going after him if I'm North Melbourne. I really am. I'm going after him physically. I don't know who we play. Young Holland's on one wing. He'll just run all day, run. And I don't think his courage can be questioned, but he's just slight. So who it is we play on that other wing, if we feel like we're going to go safe with Lockie O'Brien, he was dreadful last week. Absolutely dreadful. So that's a big call as far as I'm concerned if he comes in. And it's not like anyone in the VFL is knocking the door down. They were poor last week. Paddy Dow, what do you have, 28 touches, didn't have a huge impact on the game. Does he come in some sort of role to release someone on the wing? And what we will see if Dow comes in, we're going to see Paddy Dow and Luke Davies Uniac. Okay, we took Dow at 3 and the Kangaroos took LDU at 4. That's if Dow comes in. Hope to get Kennedy back, but it just feels, a little bit slow in that midfield at the moment, just a little bit slow. But strong though, strong around the ball, which I like, and I think we'll need to be really strong around the ball against North Melbourne because they are known, okay, to have a real fucking crack. They got this feeling, I mentioned Simpkin and LDU back in. I got a feeling they'll probably debut someone in this game, North Melbourne. I think it might be George Wardlaw. number 4 pick from last year, another midfielder come in. That's just a feeling of mine. They don't have Griffin Logue. They don't have Ben Mackay. They're going to rely on Aiden, the two Aidens, Aiden Bonner and Aiden Core. Now, Bonner played okay on Big Harry last year. I think Harry kicked 4. He was serviceable. But Jesus Christ, is there a time for these two guys to really hit the scoreboard? And if they're not going to hit it, okay, well, what's the next layer? Jack and our Smalls to fucking hit the scoreboard. It's in this game against North Melbourne. Let's have a look. I want us to flex our muscles. I want us to be bullies. Okay, can we flex? All right, have we got it in us to really flex? Can we see it? I'd love to be able to see it from this group. And I know we're meeting expectations in regards to wins, but I really want to see in this game a real aggression. I want us to wipe the floor with them. We kicked 100. What did we kick? 17 goals, 12 last year. These are the scores at Marvel Stadium this year. Okay, so North Melbourne kicked 87 against West Coast, St Kilda 67 against Freo, St Kilda 92 against the Bulldogs, Essendon 108 against Gold Coast, and the Bulldogs 67 last week against Brisbane. I want us to kick 120 plus. There you go, 120 plus for the Blue Baggers against the Kangaroos. I want to keep them below. I want to keep them below 70. The Kangaroos below 70. All right, so this is what we've kicked so far this year. And I understand this will be under the roof, different conditions. So we've kicked 58, 90, 74. We've given up 58, 82, 64. Not bad. Okay, we haven't kicked the ton yet. All right, it needs to be done against North Melbourne. All right, North Melbourne 87, 73 and 61. They're their scores for, and against 82, 72 and 81. What do you guys think? Is this a chance? Just, as I said, it's not going to mean a lot. Okay, it's not like we're going to get overly carried away with this performance. And I think we'll still continue to fly under the radar. But if Harry and Charlie, say 12 between them, the media will jump on that. That's okay. But I don't think they'll be getting too carried away with a big win over North Melbourne. But is it time, do you think, for us to start to see a little bit better from our football team in regards to the way we, not so much our attitude and all that, okay, the ability to dig in when it gets tough, we see that. But in regards to something which we can look at and go, shit, this looks all right. Okay, we can move the ball with speed from our back half. We can hit up our forwards inside forward 50. We can be clinical in front of the big sticks. Okay, I think this is a perfect opportunity to do that. Tell me what you think.